Welcome to the Media Mavens Show, a fantastic fusion of health, wealth, and wisdom that will ignite your passion for life. I'm Aldwin Alternate, also known as the Media Queen from Australia.
And I'm Kerstin Linnertz from Germany. We are here to take you on a journey of inspiration to help you grow in life and business and unlock your true potential.
With a combined 70 years of media experience, we share stories, insights, and expert advice that will empower you in all areas of your life.
The Media Mavens Show is not just another show. It's a candid look for answers to the big questions in life and a movement towards a better, brighter future.
This show transcends borders. We're connecting people and cultures globally.
So whether you're watching us online or listening to our podcast, buckle up to be inspired, informed, and ready to conquer the world.
Welcome to Yes. Welcome to Media Mavens Show, episode 4. Pressing buttons here. Welcome along.
Very warm welcome to episode number 4. And I saw you, Aldwin, jamming along with our intro. No, do you love it as much as I do?
I was. I love it. That was really nicely put together.
Same here.
Yeah.
We are so excited to welcome a very special guest today. Fauzia Mughal is live here from Switzerland. She's an amazing woman. She's coming from clinical research. She's the founder of Mera Yoga. And today we will talk about the topic of being authentic in a world full of expectations. That sounds like a big one, and we'll discover questions like, how do you stay authentic with pressure from society? How do you overcome challenges and still not lose yourself? And many other exciting questions. Fauzia, very warm welcome. Great to have you with us.
Wow, thank you, beautiful souls. I'm so happy to be able to join you and spread the word. And I'm really, really looking forward to our 1-hour conversation. It's going to be hopefully full of goodies, good news, good input.
And gold nuggets of wisdom, supporting the health and the wealth and the wisdom of our listeners and viewers. What we always like asking first is, for our guests, why is it that you do what you do? What do you want to share with the world?
Wow, that is a really big question. And I've asked myself that over the years on a number of occasions. Why do I do what I do? For a number of things. I mean, I am a very curious person. I grew up with parents who still are very curious about life, and they instilled in us values. And I think, like most parents do, and I think from my father's point of view, he was always a very curious and still is a very curious person. And I think he instilled that in me to go further, to go and find out what's beyond the tip of your nose, as we'd say. And I think over the years, I've done a lot of things, and I've realized on this journey that there was something missing, that I wasn't doing what I really wanted to do. I maybe people can relate to that. There's like a little hole or an emptiness there where you think there's a piece missing. And I think for me, it was like that for most part of my life until my late 40s, where something just happened. Let's say I went to a yoga class bit before that, and that's where I noticed the transformation. That's where I noticed that thing that I've been looking for is found, but it was still a little bit on, unstable foundation. And the other thing is that I love helping people. I'm in a job. I have a day job, as we say. I'm in the medical profession, but now for the last 3 years, I'm in clinical research. So I've been unknowingly, unconsciously helping people solve their problems, listen to them, give them maybe advice on a professional level, but not like I maybe do now. And I found these people kept coming back. You know, my patients kept coming back and asking me stuff and asking me for advice. And I just took it on as a normal thing until somebody said to me, my yoga teacher at that time, have you ever thought about doing that? Because you love doing the yoga, you love, you know, being out there, helping, motivating people. And I thought, no, I don't think I want to be a yoga teacher. If I'm going to do the course, I'm going to do it for myself. And I don't really want it. But it obviously wasn't like that. I had to teach to get my diploma. And the funny thing about it was, I did the minimal amount of work. I hope the dean of the yoga university is not watching, because he'll be going gray. So I thought I'm going to take the shortest route out. So I did 10 lessons, whatever, and I built up this little course. I advertised for people to come and join, and I wasn't expecting loads of people to join me. And then suddenly on that day, about 12, 13 people turned up, and I was like completely out of my depth. And I thought, okay. So I did my 10 lessons, and I thought, well, that's it. I've done it. I'm going to get my diploma. And all these people said to me, what? We want to come back. And, you know, you can't just leave us hanging. And I thought, oh my God. So I was completely overwhelmed. And again, this fear, can I pull it off? Can I pull it off? Can I really do that? Yes. And I found out the hard way. I just went into it. I'm the sort of person who just dives into something and starts swimming. And I get there to the other side and I think, okay. And that I found out that that is something that I'm really good at, if I can say that. I sort of get thrown into things willingly, unwillingly, and then I just start swimming. And maybe it takes a bit of time, but I know the determination is there. But I got to the other side, and that's how Mera Yoga came about. And yeah, obviously people like coming to my classes because they tell me it's authentic. And I think that's what we're talking about today. And I think that's what people are looking for these days. It's not somebody trying to be somebody else. It's trying to get across a message. And I try to do that in my day job as well. Be myself. And that was also not an easy route, but it took time, thanks to Kirsten. She knows what I'm talking about. We sort of bumped into each other over a year ago now, I think just over a year. I stumbled across a masterclass, and I was in a bit of a difficult rut at that moment, as you well know, Kirsten. Again, this piece within me missing, not knowing where is my direction, approaching the big 5-0, well, beyond that, and thinking, is this it? Is this what it's come to? And I'm sure there's loads of wonderful souls out there who know exactly what I'm talking about. Is this it? Is this what I've done? Is this the end of it? Do you remember, Kirsten? And I was like completely, where do I go from here? And it all sort of caved in for me. And I realized along the path that I wasn't always being my authentic self. I wasn't always doing what I wanted to do. I was fitting the norm. I was fitting in with societal norms. I was trying to please, maybe please is a bit of a strong word, others, but I was looking for approval or looking for some sort of commitment from outside, and not really looking at the most important place at all, which is inside of us. And I think that's where the journey begins. And I think for the last year, 2 years now, it's clicked in my head. And I realize it's okay to be me, however I want to be, whatever I want to do, where I want to go. what I want to say, and that took me a long time, because a lot of people are afraid, I think, of being their true selves. And a lot of us tend to hide behind some sort of masks, And I was one of those people. I remember telling Kirsten a little story in one of the jobs that I had. We were a small team, and I used to pretend that I was a little bit dumb because I didn't want to, stick out like the nerd who knew all the answers. And I did that for over 10 years. And then I left. And then I was asked to come back. And I came back with another energy. And that point where I really was myself, I think it was after the pandemic, I realized that the team that I'd worked with for over 10 years, they were like aliens to me. And of course, they made my life very miserable, and wasn't a very good time for me. But I think, again, Kirsten made me realize through her support, motivation, and the programs that she does, that it's all about energy. And I think energy is something that we really need to reconnect with ourselves. And that energy, that source, is within us, because that's what authenticity is about. Sorry if I'm stumbling a bit. I was at the dentist this morning, so
you got the injection.
Yeah, and I'm sort of still looking for words. And also that living in Switzerland, my main language is German, so I've got the English head on, and I'm sort of like getting back into the English flow. So do apologies for people who know me and thinking, what is she speaking about? What's English? Yeah, I do apologize. I will get into that swing of things. But anyway, yeah, being authentic is about living up to your values, your principles, being who you really want to be, and not having fears about being who you are. And we are sort of forgetting that. I think in the generation of our parents, as we all well know, I think my mum and dad were pretty genuine and authentic. And I think the other thing was that we didn't have, as I was growing up as a kid, that many opportunities for women when they reached a certain age. I think you discussed this last week with Linda Morrison about, yeah. And I think these days we've got so many opportunities that we are spoiled for choice. Everyone wants to be like everyone else. I was like that. Everyone wants to look like a certain way. Everyone wants to have that, figure. And we're forgetting who we really are. And, I look at my face and I think my face tells a story, my life story. When I look at myself in the mirror, I think that's me. And to be quite honest, since I've got the 50 in front of my age, I'm not ashamed to say it, girls, I love myself as a woman. I accept myself for who I am, and I love being me. And, there was a time where I could never really say that. So I love being me. I love doing what I do because it comes from the heart. And I think that's the feedback that I get from my lovely yogis, that I am allowed to and feel very privileged to accompany on their journey. And it's lovely to read that. And it makes me feel, okay, I am doing something right. So the work that I do, be it in the day job or on the mat, has some sort of purpose for me. And it's about contentment, I think, as well. When you're content, you sort of radiate that without any words. And so that's what I try to strive to do. My work, my life is not a bed of roses. I mean, it's normal. I have my ups and downs. I have bad hair days like today. I've been to the dentist and I can't really speak. Or I've got days where I just stuff my face with a chocolate fudge cake, half of it. And I think, who cares? It's me. I love being me. And that's part of me. And that's always going to stay like that. So I'm embracing me, embracing getting older gracefully and thinking, what the heck, I'm going to go for it. And I think that's also what I'm about. I want women, especially from a certain age, you know, you get to that age, 50 plus, I want them to feel encouraged, empowered, motivated again, and not feel like they're on the shelf and life's over. And I want to think that I'm living proof of that at the moment. And, you know, I wear what I want. I still have my heels. I still have my lovely dresses. And I think, yeah, go for it. You know, I love a party when I'm there. It's why not? Life is for living. And you've got to get out there and you have to make the decision to want to change something. And that's another thing that I also learned, not from outside, but it has to start with me. And I think those are the messages that my yoga lessons carry a lot of weight for me, because that's important. And if I am not authentic on the mat, then there's no point me teaching or supporting other women.
Yeah, I love that. Gosh, so much gold in what you shared, Fauzia. And one thing we all have in common is we love yoga, all three of us, right?
Yeah.
And you know, yoga is something that I actually discovered really a few years ago, that I started to realize how powerful yoga was. And then someone said to me, when you do yoga, you're actually connecting with source. And I never actually thought of it that way. And one of my favorite parts of yoga is shavasana, right? The end, right, where you're just basically still. And you know, I think a lot of my media career, I haven't been still. I've been go, 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 go. And so actually just to lie on the mat and to be still, I mean, obviously you keep breathing, however you don't move your body, right? So you don't stop your heart, but you know, it's a very powerful thing just to actually just stop your body for a moment and do that. And for me, it's been so rejuvenating. Whenever I've done yoga, it's been like a must. It's a must, big rock thing now in my week that I have to do yoga.
I think that is absolutely true also for me, and I think for you as well, Kerstin. I mean, shavasana, you mentioned, the corpse position is one of the most difficult positions. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kerstin. One of the most difficult positions to do, to relax, to let go, you know, and doing nothing. And there's a Japanese word that comes into my mind. It's called boketo. Boketo is the art of doing nothing. And, you know, a lot of people don't know how to do that anymore. We don't do that anymore. The moment we don't do anything, we have 5 minutes. What do? We pull out the cell phone and we're filling our brains again. Every time we have 5 minutes, we find something to fill our mind with. So for a lot of people, shavasana, the end relaxation, is very, very difficult. And it is a difficult pose. But once you have trust, once you connect to that source and feel supported by, Earth, Mother Earth, as I like to call it, and you know that there's a safety net for you, and every decision you make, it might not feel the right decision at that time, but you won't understand that a few weeks down the line or a few months down the line. Because I remember a yogi telling us this, I quote, stability, safety, certainty comes when you make a decision. And it doesn't matter how hard that decision is, but you've got to make a decision. Even if you feel it's right or wrong at that time, but you will feel that certainty, you will feel that safety, because you're connected to yourself, you're connected to trust, connected to the source. And I think that's what I try to feel, and this connection within me in some shape or form, be it yoga, be it meditation, be it when I'm talking to my patients. I think for me, all of that carries a message within itself.
I think that shows the strong transformational power that yoga has, no? All what you were describing, what you're describing here, that's what so many people who do the real yoga, you know, not only the gymnastics on the mat, but really the breathing, the moving, the relaxation. And that's the magic about Shavasana, the final relaxation, when you've been activating the body through the movement, the breathing, the mind, through the concentration on the postures. And then you go and lay down in Shavasana. And it's always those who dare to let go. We've been talking about the letting go.
Yes.
It's a big lesson, Shavasana, in letting go. Can you allow the mind to drift off and those thoughts coming up that have been provoked through the movements, right? And that's a strong transformational power when you dare to jump in there. And I liked how you, Fauzia, were mentioning the word trust. There's something that yoga gives you as a powerful tool. You start to trust yourself. You trust your body to do those crazy movements, putting myself into a pretzel. Can I really do that crazy shit? I can, you know? And then, can I breathe that much? Can I hold my breath that much? Yes, I can. Next time I do it a bit longer. You learn to trust yourself. You expand your borders. And then you trust yourself. You know, I love the English expression falling into sleep, falling into relaxation. It's nothing you do proactively. You have to allow it. And that's when you transport that into life situations. Do you trust the universe? Do you trust a new situation? Do you, Fauzia, like you were describing in your late 40s, beginning 50s, trust yourself starting a new career because it didn't feel authentic just working in clinical research? You need to be brave. You need to have balls, lady balls, to do that. You know?
And I'm telling you, I've grown a massive pair of lady balls.
Huge, you know, huge bombs. And let me take, I mean, we see you the way we see you now. I mean, I've been blessed to be along your side for a little bit and blow some wind under your wings. So take us back to the beginning of this process, because some of our viewers and listeners might be the old you, the old Aldwin, the old me. And I'm sure there's people who have these doubts, who don't feel so authentic, who don't feel they are living their best life. Maybe they're past their 40, their 50s, and they have this question, is this it? So first, what were the doubts that you were having? And what was this expectations? You know, we talk about being authentic in a world of expectations. What were the doubts you had make you feel non-authentic? And what was the pressure you were perceiving, real or not real, from society?
Oh gosh, I mean, I could write a book on this and we could be here for hours. But I think, going back to your question, Kirsten, the main trigger for me recently, that's about 2 years or 3 years ago, let's say, was, and I'm going to say this, my last job. As I mentioned briefly earlier, I'd been there for over 10 years and I ran the entire department. And the people I work with, my peers, I mean, I loved them. And I had a wonderful relationship with them as well. And I never saw myself as, quote unquote, the pacemaker of the department, unquote. I just did my job. And then the pandemic came and I was at home for a little while, but I still worked online for the clinic. And then I decided, after realizing, wow, I can sleep again. I don't have to get the 6:30 train every morning to Zurich. I don't have to lose 2 hours. And I was given yoga in the evenings, commuting back from Zurich to here and going off. And that means I used to come back home at about 10 in the evening. I was completely exhausted, but I never gave up because I felt I had a duty to my yogis. I had a duty to those people who want to come to my classes. So I carried on. And in the pandemic, I realized I don't want this anymore, which I didn't. And then I left, I resigned, and there was like this, oh my God, my boss went completely AWOL. Why can you do this and all this? And, you know, the team that I also supported, worked in, there wasn't that much of a resonance there. And that's when the alarm bells started going off in my head very, very gently. And I thought, okay, this is weird, because when someone goes after a very long time from the team, everyone's, ooh, you know, and with me, it was a bit different. So I pricked up my ears a bit more and I thought, okay, let's just keep an eye on this. So I left. And they gave me a really nice send off. And 6 months later, they couldn't find someone to fill my place, someone capable of doing all that stuff. So I was asked to come back. And I would never go back to a place that I'd worked for. That was always my motto. But something inside me was telling me, it's okay, maybe because I felt safe in that environment. I knew what I was doing. I felt not cherished, that's the wrong word, accepted through my work. I think I identified myself through my day job and less as me after 5 o'clock in the evening. So I went back, and then it all started. To cut a long story short, in my 50s, so if anybody's out there who can relate to this, just let us know in the chat. In my 50s, I was terribly mobbed. I got very mobbed. Bullied is the English version. Not mobbed is German. So I got bullied very, very badly. There were lies told about me. And at the end of it, I was told by two of my peers who I adored, who we used to go out and have a drink or dinner. They were like friends. And I was told by two of my peers that it'd be better if I resigned and left. And I thought, I'm not doing this. I don't see why I have to. And then they dished out all these lies. And I realized who was responsible for this. And this was someone that I was very close to for over 12 years. And she stabbed me in the back. And so one day I left and I thought, that's it. And that's where I fell into a hole. And that's where I started to doubt my abilities, doubt me as a person. What they're saying, is it really true? Do I cause a raucous in the team? Am I arrogant? I've been told that many times because inwardly, I'm quite a shy person. You might not believe that. But when I meet people for the first time, I'm very quiet and reserved, and I just like to find my place. And people mistake that for arrogance, or I'm a snotty cow, has been told. Yeah, I can laugh about it now. But wow. This mobbing thing, this bullying thing really, really finished me off. I started questioning my abilities as a yoga teacher. I mean, in my job, I used to teach people how to do stuff within the job that I did. And I never got a terrible feedback. You know, it was always the opposite. So to be bullied like that and told, you know, there's no room for you, you're like this, that finished me off. And I think that was a point where I was so down and I didn't know, do I turn right, left? What am I going to do? Who's going to give me a job with, you know, mid-50s? Who's actually going to employ me? Because in Switzerland, I don't know what it's like in Australia or in Germany. In the UK, I'm not into that very much anymore, I can't say. But in Switzerland, when they look at someone over 50 applying for a job, they think you're too expensive, yeah? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter how much experience you got, they don't want you. So I was really down again, and I thought, okay, let's do the yoga thing. And I think that was the point where I realized I started giving my best yoga classes that I have ever given, because they came out of a place within me that was hurting, that wanted to speak but didn't have the voice. So I was voicing my sadness, my fear, my angst, my horror, my betrayals, my friendships. I was questioning it all. And I was reliving that through my yoga. Yeah. And I stumbled across Kerstin's podcast or masterclass, and I thought, there's that hole again. Where do I go from here? What do I need? My yoga is not really fulfilling me. There's something missing. And I'd done quite a lot of coaching sessions, and they were all very good. But for me, some of them didn't have that lasting impact. And I just wanted to get back to me like I was before, carefree, bold, adventurous, loves to take a risk every now and again. I'm the girl who packed a bag in the 90s and handed my job in at the university here and say, I'm off to learn Spanish. And I just packed my bag and I just thought, let's go to Barcelona. And that's exactly what I did. And I had no fear. I just took the risk, and it was the best time I ever, ever, ever had. And I made loads of friends who are still my friends today. But this esprit, this panache, it had gone. And I allowed these bullies to take that from me. And speaking to Kerstin, as you know, she mentioned that word energy. It's all about energy. And that's when it clicked. I came back to that place as a completely different person. And I think looking back, and I'm thinking, God, they're all leading probably very, very sad lives, And I cut everybody out. I deleted the numbers. I made a clean break. And I do that again every now and again, because friendship is a two-way thing. And friendship is something that also nurtures one's soul, So I'm very careful about friendships that I have. For me, there should be nurturing friendships that feed my soul and not only take. It's a give and take thing, without having to ask. And I think that in turn strengthens the bond that each and every one of us have with our source, with Atman, as we as we say in yoga, Sutra Atman, the place where your spiritual soul is. And I think this connection is important, because without this connection, authenticity is not going to happen. You can't hide behind a mask. You can't hide behind operations. If you want to do them, go ahead, feel free. But underneath it all, you can't change who you are, because that's what it's all about. And it's not, authenticity is not something that you can buy using an expensive cream that you put on your face. That's another yogi who told me that in one of the lessons. So that stayed in my mind. Radiance, authenticity is not something you can buy off the counter. It starts with you, and you've got to prepare that foundation. So that's what I did, going through that bullying with Kerstin's help. I relayed my foundations, which were healthy. I was eating healthier. I was having healthier thoughts. I was changing the way, and I still do, how I say things. I'm very aware of how I communicate now. And I make space. I set my boundaries. I learned to say no, which was not always easy. I've learned to say no. And I've also learned to forgive, because that is something that I wasn't very good at. You can ask the dean at the university, the yoga school where I did my training. I always stumbled on that forgiveness. I came to a point during the meditation where I had to forgive somebody that I didn't like. And boy, was that hard. I'm telling you, it took me 4 years to finally forgive that person. And it felt amazing. And to quote another wonderful person who's been accompanying me through my journey, she said, not forgiving someone or not having that empathy for forgiveness is like carrying a 10-kilo sack of rotten vegetables on your back, day in, day out. And it gets so bad at some point that the only thing that you can do is to get rid of that sack of rotting vegetables. And when you do that, you feel free. You open yourself up to things that are waiting for you. And I'm a firm believer of that. Positive affirmations, being who you are. And it's paying off for me because I feel that in my students that I feel grateful to accompany on the yoga mat. The feedbacks, the way they are, the changes they've made, it's amazing. And I think they always tell me it's because you are yourself on the mat. And I think that's what it is. And that's what life is about. And we shouldn't forget that. We should not forget that.
Yeah,
Yes.
beautiful, beautiful. We heard the word letting go a few times now, no? Both of you, would you agree on that? That's something that I share often. To gain something new, to gain or get back your authenticity, or to gain more courage, more confidence, is actually, it's a bit paradox, but it's more about letting go than to acquainting you. You need to let go of doubt. You need to let go of unhealthy patterns. You need to let go of the bullying and the scars and the hurt inside. And forgiving is a form of letting go as well. I love that image that you were sharing, the rotten food, or what was it? The rotten meat,
Rotten vegetables,
whatever, something rotten on your back. And the moment you just let go of that, you travel lighter. There's this beautiful saying, if you want to travel far, travel light. And so often people cling to so many unnecessary things that are between their now and their authentic self. So would you agree on that? That's more about letting go often.
Absolutely. And that clinging onto something, we cling onto things because we feel safe, even when we know these things that we cling on to don't do us any favors. They don't do us any good. They're just big stones in the way. But it's safer to hold on to something that even though it's crap. Yeah. But letting go needs courage. And courage is also a word that is incorporated in authenticity. It's about having courage to live by your ideals, live by your examples, live your true self, be your true self, and not be afraid of it, not live in fear, whatever that means for you. And I try to be the best version of me that I can. And that's my mission. And that's my mission also to support other women who might be going through similar things, who might be doubting their abilities. There are so many wonderful souls out there who've had fantastic careers and have given their careers or put them on the back burner for the sake of raising a family and spending about best part of 20 years at home. And then, then comes the nesting syndrome. Kids go away and suddenly you find yourself on your own. And then that's the moment where I know as well, through other people that I know, those doubts start creeping in. Was that it? Was that my purpose? What do I do now? And getting your footing back into the professional world, maybe you were a graphic designer or whatever. It's not easy, but there are so many other options. And it starts with you. It starts with you taking the first step and making that decision to say yes to yourself. Yeah. Yes to life, because we are living longer. We have so many opportunities and life is for living. And, I've got a big bucket list, which I want to fulfill. And I'm going to make sure that I'm going to try and get most of it done as long as I'm healthy. And that is the thing. I'm very grateful that I have so many opportunities at my door, and I didn't see them for many years. I just was blind. I just was in this self-pity, going through breakups as well. That also has a great toll, takes a great toll on oneself. And I was just a disheveled little heap of whatever. I felt worthless. I felt not happy. And every time I used to see people together who were, you know, lovey-dovey or happy or doing it, and I'd think, I'm still the single one here. I'm still on my own. Why is that? I mean, yeah. And I realized that maybe my time wasn't right. And also I need to work on myself more. And it's not something that you realize overnight. I think for me, it was just a process. And yeah, and I'm glad to be where I am now. And I've had so many people, wonderful people supporting me on my journey. And I'm getting to know new people all the time who are on the same wavelength as me, who tick on the same wavelength as me, who nurture friendships, who nurture my soul. And in that way, when I feel nurtured, I can open myself and give back. I think that is something that is very, very important. This is not about how you look. You know, looks won't get you anywhere. It'll get you maybe to a certain distance. But after that, what's left? As we get older, our looks change. No? So that's also something about authenticity. And there are a lot of people out there who, I think there were a few studies. I'm just touching on this because something just pinged into my brain, which I'd like to share with you. And it's, we get older and we can't rely on our external phenotypical physical appearance, because that is going to change. It's changing the day we're born. The day we're born, we begin to, in inverted commas, die. I'm talking about the cell structure. Yeah. So that's something that we cannot change. We have no influence over it. It doesn't matter how many creams we slap on our face. It's all to do with genetics as well. You know, there are creams that help, whatever, but I'm an advocate for, you know, a bit of basic olive oil or whatever. That's my routine. I don't go to facials or whatever, but I like to be me, and I feel comfortable in my skin the way I am now. And a funny little story, which will get your minds thinking. I think you know this story, Kirsten, about authenticity. I had a photo shooting session on a professional part for a scientific brochure that we were putting together. And there was me and my colleague. My colleague's been there for donkey's years, right? Over 10 years. And of course, the photographer came and we were there 2 hours taking pictures within the place that I work. And then we didn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden this brochure appeared, and there are all these pictures of my colleague in there who we've seen for over 10 years, you know, like nothing's changed. And then I thought, we did 2 hours of photos, so what about me? And then there was that picture, a little for a square showing the back of my head opening the fridge door, and that was it. And then I thought, what is going on here? I spent 2 hours, and that's the picture they use. So I rang up the communications department and said, hey, what is going on here? And do you know what the answer was? You're going to think, shock, horror. Yeah, well, for a scientific brochure, you are too good looking, basically. That's what they said. You can't be on the cover of that. Shock, horror, folks. Shock, horror. Yeah. And me, wow. Yeah. So
isn't it, speaking of society expectations, right? I mean, this is something I think many women can relate to, you know, those things. She's the pretty one. She can't be intelligent. She's too old. She can't be fit. She's a mother. She can't be available. She's this. She can't be that. She's working too much. She can't be a good mother. I mean, what's going on here? What's our opinion on it? Right? We've had this, Aldwin. Remember when we talked to Linda Morrison last week as well? All these judgments that, especially, I love men. I can't say that often enough. Nothing against men. I've never been a feminist. I never had to. I never had any disadvantages for being a woman, but it's most often the women that get put a label on themselves. She's too much of that, means she can't be that. What's your experience here, and how we're talking about being authentic despite those judgments from society and those expectations? So what has to happen until this ends?
I don't know. I don't think I really have the answer to that. But after that incident, it really made me more determined to make myself be seen and heard, and recommand a certain amount of respect. I mean, you can't dish women for the way they look or their IQ or whatever. You know, you're born with those genes, and that's how it is. You know, I mean, Cindy Crawford is super intelligent. If she wasn't a model, she would have been a chemical engineer, I think I read somewhere. I mean, there are really intelligent women out there. I mean, let's look at Amal Clooney. I mean, she's a human rights lawyer. I mean, she is stunning. But, you know, I think discrimination like that generally puts a downer, a damper on your authenticity. Because for one split second, when I heard those words, and I was reading between the lines, it wasn't said like that, but that's what was implied. I just thought, God, do I have to be dowdy now? And you know, it was a split second thought, do I have to dress down? No, I'm going to dress the way I always dress. I'm going to go the way I always am. I'm going to say the things and have conversations with people like I always do. I'm going to be me. And if they don't like it, you can lump it, you know? I'm not putting up with that. And funnily enough, I have set up more boundaries in my workplace. I have learned to say no. And it's got to that point, as Kirsten once mentioned, it would get to that point, is that they don't even ask me because they know the answer is going to be no. So I've got my little, you know, energy ball going on. And I just think in that space, I feel comfortable. I command respect without saying it verbally, and the other way around. And they know, you know, I'm not like a force to be reckoned with, but I try to be fair. I try to be fair to myself, and I'm very realistic and self-reflect. I do that quite a lot, and I don't want to change me. I'm blessed with the way things have been for me. I can appreciate that now. And I think gratitude is also another topic that is a part of authenticity for me as well. I think you touched upon that in one of your previous podcasts. I remember, I think, Aldwin, gratitude was something you also talked about a while back. And I think we forget about things like that. And it's not to say, hey, I'm thankful for my, you know, egg and chips for dinner this evening. It's not about that. For me, gratitude is saying, and I'm grateful for three things every day, and I say it out loud when I'm walking to work. I'm thankful for the drive home yesterday because I didn't get wet in the rain and I felt safe. You know, you've got to add a bit more onto it at the end, and not just say I'm thankful for that cup of tea because it was amazing. For me, it's got to have a little bit more because it has to resonate with the values that I carry within me. And I try to be a good person. I try just to be the best version of myself and nothing else. And I think at the end of the day, that's what counts. It's being who you are and standing up and owning that, owning that. And we don't do very much of that these days. It's all about social media and the norms that we have, the pictures, the images we have. Yeah, I mean, there are fantastic yoga teachers out there on social media, but I could never be one of them. I don't want to be one of them. I think they're amazing. I mean, the stuff they put out there, I'm thinking, hey, but with my coming on to 6-0, thinking, do I really need to do those fancy things? No, my practice has changed to accommodate me as a person, and my practice reflects me as a person, who I really am. And that is something that I haven't experienced in a long, long time since I've been teaching. And I remember when I was training, we had a very well-educated yoga teacher, a French guy, and he was always very strict with us, And the other people in the class, I used to compare myself to them. You see, I was doing that at that time. Why can't I do this? Why can't I have a bum like hers when I'm in my leggings? Or why? Do you know what I mean? Really stupid things. And then I realized my body's not made for that. And that this yoga teacher said to me, you will get to that point where you want to be when you turn 50. Before you get to the 50, you've got a lot of learning to do. You've got a lot of work to do on yourself. And I used to look at him thinking, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just sort of, but lo and behold, he was right. And I have never felt happier being me, being a woman, doing the things that I do, being an advocate, hopefully, for other women in this age group who think life is over, done the kids, done this, got the T-shirt, done that. No, life is just starting, and we've got so much ahead. And so take this opportunity and do something positive for yourself. Take the courage, go out and do a course, or be dramatic, have a new hairstyle, whatever. Just do something that makes you feel good, even if it means going out for a walk. Do something for yourself. Make an oasis for yourself every day if it's possible, so that you feel good about yourself at the end of the day. So you can say, I had a great day today. I had 15 minutes for myself and I felt as if I was reborn, whatever. So I try to implement these things as much as I can during my day, during my courses, whatever. Yeah. Rabbiting again.
So much gold in what you shared. I just, there's so much I want to say. I want to go back to when you were talking about how people were bullying you, right? And I was actually bullied as a child, and I've had various incidents through my life of bullying as well. And actually just in the last few years, I had a very close girlfriend that just suddenly kind of ghosted me for no apparent reason. And I was quite upset about that initially. And I kept reaching out and she wasn't responding. It takes two to tango, right? It takes two to tango. And I couldn't work out what had happened because she wasn't responding. And interestingly, just today, I was on a networking event with this lady, right? It was about 40 people on the networking event. And I saw her there, and it just happens to be her birthday today. And I sent her a private message and I said, happy birthday. I hope everything is well with you and I hope you have a great day. And she said, oh, thank you very much for remembering my birthday. And it was amazing. I actually got a response and I thought, oh, that's nice. And I just and I said, my pleasure. And I just sent her love. You know what I mean? And this is that, people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And since I heard the term hurt people, that was absolutely gold for me. Hurt people. And so I think to myself, okay, if someone's kind of gone a bit strange, maybe they've ghosted you or they're doing funny things or they're saying nasty things about you, it's not about you. It's about them. And we have to learn to let go of whatever our opinions are, that the decisions that we make about ourselves when someone else is being nasty to us. It's not about us. And to be able to turn that around and to come to a place of love and compassion for these people, to actually, it doesn't mean we want to hang out with them necessarily again. However, we can send them love. We can send them love and we can let them them go, because if we don't send them love and let them go, we're holding on to that resentment. And as they say, if we hold on to the resentment, we are taking the poison while maybe wanting someone else dead. And this is where a lot of people are holding on to this anger and holding on to this frustration, and they're wondering why they've got illnesses and things going on in their body, because they're holding on to all this stuff they're not letting go.
Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better myself, Aldwin. Yeah. Holding on to stuff makes you ill, shades your authenticity, shades your radiance. You can't function when you're holding on, as you put it, to that poison. And yes, letting go. You did a great job, Give Her Love. And it took me, for this person, about a year. For me, the first step was deleting her from my cell phone. And I found out through a common friend who also got bullied and left the team that, I'm also a believer in karma. I think whatever you put out there, you're going to get it back. And you're going to get it back tenfold. And there was me at that point where I was being bullied, where I decided I am not setting foot in that clinic again. And I was thinking to myself, I'm waiting for the day karma kicks in, because that's the day where I will feel that justice has been done. And that was it for me. I didn't wish her bad, ill, or whatever. I just wanted to get on with my life, and I just wanted her to think about maybe what she's been doing, what triggered her to that. And it's about energy, as you said. And I heard recently karma obviously kicked in, and this person was also told to leave, because the job that this person was doing was not good enough anymore. A lot of people had gone because of the way the team was run. And this person obviously asked if this communal common friend of ours, would it be a good idea if she got in touch with me again after 3 years? And this common friend said, I don't think so. I think you should leave it where it is. Let sleeping dogs lie. Just get on with your life, because what you did to Fauzia, I think it's no point going back there. She's moved on. She's happy where she is, and just leave sleeping dogs lie. Just leave it. So that was also another confirmation for me. Karma does happen, but it doesn't happen when you want it. It happens after you've had time to process what happened with you, get rid of that poison, as you put it, give love, and that's when karma kicks in. And, I didn't feel, I can't think of the word in English, sorry, scheinheilig, scheinheilig.
It's like a wannabe, when you're just pretentious,
Pretentious or hypocritical. But I felt a sense of relief. And then I felt guilty for feeling like I had this sense of relief when I heard that. And I thought, no, I am human. Maybe that's why I do feel a little bit guilty. But hey ho, that's the way life is. Let her go her own way. I'm in a good place at the moment, because I learned to let go. And I'm telling you, letting go is not easy. And I had a lot of baggage. I'm telling you, you could fill an airplane hangar with all that baggage that I've been carrying around. So I'm proud of myself that I have learned, and I still am dumping baggage whenever I need to, that I don't want to get caught up in conflict. I deal with things in a different way, because I don't want my energy, I don't want my authenticity to be tarred by it. And I'm very aware, and I'm very guarding of that, because I don't want to be back in that place that I was for many, many years. And bullying is a horrible thing. And you're dead right, Aldwin. It's to do with them. It's because they want something that they see in you and can't get it, because they're too afraid. They're stuck in their ways. So in a way, I feel sorry for them, and in a way, it's like an inverted compliment. They're giving you a compliment in a weird sort of a way, if you want to look at it like that. But
Yeah.
good luck to them, because bullies will do their time when it's right. You can't go on making people's lives misery because of the way they look, what they say, if they're successful, if they're going in a right direction for them, if they feel free, if they're giving up their job they've done for 20 odd years. I mean, I've been in the medical field now for over 20 years, right? And I loved my job. I really loved my job, but it's also very draining. And I got to this age where I thought, do I really want to be doing this until I retire? No. I've got this yoga thing going on in the background. Why don't I just focus more on that? Because I get something else out of it. I get, I don't go out looking for recognition. I don't need a pat on the back from my boss to say, hey, you've done a great job. I don't need that. My recognition is when I am myself, and when a yogi smiles at the end of the class, or a patient says, hey, thanks, that was a nice chat. That does it for me. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. I don't need a prize. I don't need a medal. I don't need anything like that. I just want the people who I take care of or teach, I want them to have an experience that they don't forget. And that's why I try to make sure that my lessons, or when I'm working professionally, that I am myself, because there's no better person than being who you really are. And that's when trust sort of starts growing between you and the person sitting or standing opposite you. And I think trust is something that a lot of people look for and need. And they don't have that trust because they don't feel safe. They don't feel stable. And I think it's all about that. It's all about that. Without healthy roots, without a stable foundation, you can't build trust if you don't feel safe. If you don't have trust, you can't trust your inner voice. Yeah. And we need to listen more, look within, look more within us, instead of looking for confirmation, appreciation from outside, because that's not a longevity thing. It's not going to be there for long. You need confirmation from your inner self, because that's something that's always going to be there. It always was. It's probably dormant. You just need to wake it up and reconnect to yourself.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And to find that connection with source, you need to look within. There we are again in Shavasana, no? This daring to let go, and daring to sit with the silence, and, to not look at the cell phone every 5 minutes that you don't have anything to do. I want to get back. I loved how you two were talking about how you managed to let go of those people who bullied you. And again, this is a luggage that we're letting go of. And what came to my mind when you were talking about that, have you heard of this frequency chart? Go Google that. Everyone listening, everyone watching, go type in frequency chart. You get amazing images showing the different emotions and thoughts and the level of frequency they emit. So things like guilt, shame, anger, resentment, they vibrate on a very low frequency, whereas things like love, joy, gratitude, acceptance, they vibrate on a very high frequency. So to have this authenticity, this peace within yourself, this feeling of, I don't need anything else but the smile of a yogi, this being at home in yourself, this is a very high frequency that you vibrate in. And as soon as you buy into the bullying, that's why I loved how Aldwin was saying, it's not about you, it's about them when they bully you, because they are vibrating on a very low frequency, and they're trying to vomit that onto you. And the moment you buy into that, the moment you think it's about you, your frequency is being pulled down to their low level of frequency. It's mingling, and maybe you're even taking on something of their low energy. But when you're totally at peace, you don't even go down there. You don't even allow people on such a low frequency to enter your high frequency. And this is something that I keep repeating that this is not about being arrogant or, sitting on a high throne or on your mountain and you're better than anyone else. No, but this is about protecting your frequency, your energy, and to vibe on such a high frequency that it doesn't matter what they are doing down there. And you will attract people. The more you are rooted in that high frequency, the more secure you're there, the more you're at home there, the more people you will attract who vibe just alike. That's how I met Aldwin. That's how we met. Your tribe of high frequency beings, individuals, will expand the less often you allow others to pull you out of that peace. And I think this is something that's the beauty about aging. I keep repeating that as well. I refuse to use the word anti-aging. I think it's the stupidest invention ever. It's like anti-living to say anti-aging. We all age. And that's one of the beautiful rewards for our boobs being a little bit lower, for our skin being a little bit softer, for our hair being a little bit gray. But we get more and more to peace with this authentic self. And when we do the work, when we relieve the luggage, when we heal our scars, when we learn to deal with our triggers, it doesn't matter what people on a low frequency do or say or bully us, And I always recommend to my clients, allow yourself a little layer of Teflon. Those Teflon pans that you cook on and nothing sticks on that? And it's a positive way on, instead of sun lotion, put on a little bit of energetic Teflon, and all the bullshit just does not stick to your beautiful energy. And I think the older we get, when we do the work, instead of getting bitter, this is people who don't do the work and who buy into the negativity. When we do the work, it's like what's the name of that bird? The phoenix, right? It's the phoenix rising from the ashes, and we wear our scars with pride. I wear my soft belly with pride because I made my baby. And I wear my scars and my wrinkles with pride because they are showing everything that is a diary of life. And I think
it's your life story.
Yes.
It's your life. It's carved into our face, into our body. And why get rid of that?
Yes.
Why get rid of that? The worst thing is when you if someone wants to go and have plastic surgery or whatever, go and do it. It's not for me. I've always said that. If you're going to look like this up here and you notice the neck is all wrinkled and showing your age, I mean, what is the point of that? And who knows what are the long-term effects of all this foreign material that we put into our bodies in the long run? We don't know that. We don't know that. And I am very reluctant to do that. So I'm happy pro-aging, and I don't care that everything is migrating down south, right? I'm doing my planks, I'm doing my down dogs, and it doesn't really matter. And I don't need a 6-pack anymore. I've had it. I've got a 2-pack. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. Who cares? I love me for who I am. And there are so many women out there, I know it, who look at themselves in the mirror and think, oh my God, no, it's not. You've given life. You've created a human being. You've given birth. You create life. I mean, we women, we are extraordinary beings, We are a hormonal machine, very complicated, but our bodies are very, very intelligent. I mean, we carry life within us and we give life. I mean, how many of the species do you know that in humans? I mean, we are only the humans, I know, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. I've got a bit of German words going on in the head, so maybe I'm stumbling a little bit with the English. Sorry.
Translate.
Yeah, but I think we should not forget that, our bodies as women go through a lot from the day we're born through to all the different stages, and we should honor that. We should embody these changes, and we should honor that because it's something very sacred. It's something very powerful, I think. And we should honor this energy, Mother Earth. We are Mother Earth. I'd like to think of this energy as Mother Earth. We are mothers, most of us. And we carry this energy. We carry precious goods within us. We need to take care of that. And so if things go a little bit out of shape as you get older, who cares? Your partner is hopefully with you and loves you and accepts you the way you are, not the way you look. It's more about what's underneath it. It's not about the external part of it, because that changes. It's what your values are, what you tick like, what do you think, what do you what makes you tick. I think that's what is important. Energy, the laws of attraction, the energy, it's got to be there, and you have to work at it. It's not something that you can just take a pill and it's there. You have to work at yourself, for yourself. If you want to change something that's very boring in your life, or you feel stuck in a rut, the only person who can change anything is you. And taking that first step needs courage. And courage comes from a place where you have healthy, deep-rooted foundations. And if your foundation is not grounded, then whatever it is that you build on top of that, it's not going to sustain, is it? I'm speaking from my own experience, right? So I'm not, I'm always talking from my own experience. And I've had loads of ups and downs, loads of downs. I'm on an up now, and I'm enjoying the roller coaster ride. It's about time.
Yeah,
Still here, folks. I'm still here. So.
You're spot on, Fauzia. One of my favorite songs is "This Is Me" from The Greatest Showman. This is me. It's a wonderful song. And, The Greatest Showman's an interesting movie because there's a whole lot of different characters in this movie. And, someone said once that, flowers don't grow in the field and look at each other and go, oh, you're more beautiful than me, or, you're taller than me, or Yet the way we operate in society now, particularly with social media, how often do we compare ourselves to others, right? How often do we think, oh, this is actually what is beautiful and this isn't beautiful because of whatever, right? Yeah. And, back in the Rubens days, big women were really beautiful, right? The big chunky, voluptuous women were really beautiful. And then somehow magazines came out with all these anorexic models, and then suddenly that was considered beautiful. And, the thing is that if you are watching this right now, it means you're a spiritual being having a human experience, right? And means that you are 1 in a billion just by being born. Now, the thing is that, as Kirsten was saying, with the Dr. Hawkins scale of consciousness, now when people are at shame and guilt and all those vibrations, anger, they're under 150 hertz. In fact, shame and grief, and they're the very lowest vibrations. Whereas with love, we're vibrating love, gratitude, joy, abundance, which happens with yoga, of course. We come up to these high vibrations. You're vibrating at above, 500 and above. So that's a massive difference, right? And the thing is that people that are vibrating low doesn't mean that they're bad people. Like these are still spiritual beings having a human experience. It's just that their choice of how they're doing the human experience, of how they're having the human experience, of how they're being in this human experience is full of drama. It's full, and this is how we're being conditioned to live in drama. And, sometimes people just don't know how to live in peace because they've just never had it. They've always had drama. And so even when there's no drama, they'll just create drama, right? And it can be a vicious loop, and people often aren't conscious of it. And this is where it's important to have that compassion, have that love, because the more that we increase our vibration and start to vibrate at different frequencies, people will naturally drop away. And that can look in different ways. It can look like bullying. It can look like ghosting. It can look like, it can look like all sorts of ways. And coming back to self-love, I think, is crucial with our topic today around authenticity. In the world of expectations, what expectations do we have of ourselves? What expectations do family have of us? What expectations do our clients have of us? And what expectations, mainly coming back, what expectations do you have of yourself? And what are the conversations you're having with yourself when you look in the mirror in the morning, you know, do you look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are beautiful, you are amazing? Or do you look at yourself and go, oh gosh, you know, extra gray hairs today, and a few more wrinkles today? You know, I call them wisdom lines. You know, just notice the conversations that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and I think you hit upon a really important word, conditioning. That is a big word, and that plays a massive part in these people who are functioning on a low frequency. They have been conditioned. They've been brought up like that because their peers mirrored that, and and they don't know anything else. And I think the other thing is also education, trying to change the way you think, try to change your sentences to make them more positive, to make them more attracting, to make them more appealing, instead of always in this negative sort of area. And I think conditioning is also a big thing that we should consciously look at, because it will change. It should change. It can change. It can change in the way we think, the way we speak. I think the words that we choose, which is something that I've grown more conscious about in the last few months than ever, is how I speak. Not how I speak, sondern the words that I choose. What impact does it have on that person opposite me? And I've been trying this out at work. Where else? Not on the yoga mat. And I've realized, yeah, people's reactions have changed a little bit because I've rephrased something. I've used another word, another context. And going back to work, authenticity is another little nugget that's just popped into my head, right? I've got this British sense of humor. I'm just digressing a little bit because I think this is also important. And I miss that living in Switzerland. But there are a few expats here that you can hang around with and have a good old chin wag. And when I worked in the other place where I got bullied, I could live my British humor. I mean, my peers loved it, and the most of them spoke English to me anyway because they wanted to practice their English, obviously. Where I am now, it's a little bit different. I had to learn again. I wasn't being my authentic self, that I can't use words of British humor because they'd be misconstrued, and they were taken the wrong way. And then I had to have a meeting about it to discuss what happened. Why did I say something like that? Was I being serious? And I'm thinking, hang on a minute. I mean, that was a joke. That was my sense of humor. And if someone doesn't understand that, then I think, God, you must lead sad lives. But I had to fit in again for a little while. I had to put myself back, my authentic self back, so as not to upset the apple cart. Do you know what I mean? And that really that really annoyed me a little bit. Swearing. That really annoyed me.
Let it out.
That really annoyed me. Yeah, because I thought, why am I doing that? So I had this conversation with that person. I said, listen, if I can't be myself, adios, I'm going. I don't need to be here. You know, I'm a woman with both feet firmly in the ground. I am independent. I'm strong. I never used to be able to say these things, by the way. It's only recently because I've realized this is me, and I love me being me. And if I can't be myself, what is the point? What is the point? And it's an opportunity for you also to learn new things from someone different, not always be stuck in your box, and you always look to the tip of your nose. Beyond the tip of your nose, it's too frightening. It's a shame. And life goes by, and before you know it, you're 60 and you wake up and you think, what the hell have I done? How did I get here? So someone told me this little word, YOLO. I don't know if you
Yes.
heard, it's what the teens and the young ones in Europe, I don't know, maybe also in Australia, are using YOLO. And I thought, what the hell is YOLO? Yeah, it means you only live once. So if you want to say, go out there, do your stuff, YOLO, you only live once, which is very, very true. And life is just too short to please others, because you only end up displeasing yourself. Being unhappy, being bitter, being miserable, and it's not worth it. It really, and being miserable makes you ugly. Did you know that? You need far more muscles to pull a grimace, to be miserable, than you do when you smile and are relaxed. You need far less muscles in your face. So there you go.
It's funny. It's funny. I love your accent. I love this British accent. It's funny because in Australia we call the British people, we say whinging poms, right? So often a lot of whinging poms. Yet some of the best comedy comes out of Britain. I love the British comedy. George and Mildred and Red Dwarf and Young Ones, and there's some awesome comedy that Mr. Bean. So isn't it interesting? Like the yin yang of life. It's all happening in the UK.
Yeah. Only Fools and Horses, you must know that.
Oh, yes. That's a great one.
Isn't that a blast? That is
Faulty Towers.
Faulty Towers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Brilliant.
I met John Cleese, Basil Fawlty lookalike. Not a lookalike, but someone similar. He is a blast. He's a Greek guy. I'm there most summer, and he's just like Basil Fawlty. And he's a miserable old git, but he's the most caring. He throws people out when he doesn't like the look of you, and he thinks you're going to cause trouble, you're not coming in. And he's done that. And I remember when we rocked up to this place. Yeah, love you, Akis, by the way. I rocked up to this place, and we knew what he'd be like. And I came up and I said, we're friends of so and so. And he said, yeah, I know. You must be the yoga teacher. And I thought, yeah, how do you know that then? He said, I know everything. And he said, I love Brits. So because you're British, you can come in. So that's it. My entry to this place in Greece, because I'm a Brit. He loves the Brits.
I love it. And one of my favorites recently is Absolutely Fabulous. Now we're coming up to International Women's Day on the 8th of March, and AbFab I absolutely love.
That is amazing.
Love that comedy, and the movie was really cool too. So we do need to wrap up shortly. I just want to say a quick shout out to some of the people who have joined us live. We have been streaming live to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, X, the old Twitter, of course, and Instagram. We've got Frank Edwards with us. He says, I love it. Nice to see you there, Frank. We've got Mark Unwin here. Love yourself and tell yourself you are handsome or beautiful every day in the mirror. Every day. I love that. And we have on Instagram, we've got lots of people who've joined us there. We've got Robert Mull, my friend from Brisbane there. He says, hello, gorgeous ladies. Oh, well, that compliments will get you everywhere, Robert. Thank you so much. We'll take that one. We've got Wonder Woman here. We've got lots of amazing. Terry Vincent's joined us. So many amazing people. Thank you so much. Please let us know if you've joined us live. What have you got out of this episode? We have shared so many gems here. What have you got out of the episode? Let us know in the comments. Just one thing. What's one bit of gold that you've got out of this conversation here today? Maybe there's something that you needed to hear here today. Now, final thoughts before we start to share how you can connect with us. So, Fauzia, final thoughts on this topic today.
Very simple. Be more of you and less of them.
Love that.
Beautiful.
How can people connect with you, Fauzia?
They can connect through me, through my Facebook page, Fauzia Mughal, Instagram, Mera-yoga, Fauzia M. They can connect me through, you've put it up, through my homepage, merayoga.ch. I'm also hosting in May a wonderful 4-day retreat in the Italian part of Switzerland. So if anyone listening is courageous enough and wants to connect with their inner strength and harness it, that's the topic of my 4-day retreat, please DM me or get in touch with me through my homepage. Yeah, the retreat is in English, but I also switched languages. Last year I had two English speaking people from the UK, so I translate everything, so no worries about that. Yeah, or if you have any questions about authenticity, get in touch. I'm happy to help.
Love it. And do you have a favorite quote or motto that you live by? You shared a few gems there, but any other favorite quotes or mottos that you live by?
Quote, be free, be you. Be free, be you. Yeah.
Love it. Be free, be you. Love that. It's been amazing chatting with you, Fauzia. Please hang around. We're almost wrapping up. And Kirsten, my lovely co-host, where can people connect?
Yeah, there's all the socials that people can connect with me through my Facebook page. We see my link tree here. You find all the links there. Is on linkter.ee/Kirsten Linnartz. Through my Instagram, it's Kirsten Linnartz Karuna. Through my Facebook page or via email, if you want to send me an email, it's info@b-better.eu for Europe. So all the ways to connect.
Love that. And favorite quote or motto from you today, Kirsten?
Yeah, I'm having a download. I always go with the downloads. It's never too late for a happy childhood. I love that. And we were talking about that. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how you were brought up, where you were born. You can always turn back time. Actually, you can always heal your inner child by making the decision here and now and today. From now on, live a happy life.
Love it.
I love that. Love that. I thought you were going to say happy ending there for a minute. But,
it's also a daily decision.
Never too late for a happy ending, my friends. Even after 50. Okay, so there you go. It's and apparently some of the older ones get right stuck into it. Apparently, so anyway, let's not go there right now. But something to look forward to now that I've just turned 50. Of course, to have an amazing sex life. What's that again? Sex. Yeah, that's the other thing. Menopause. There's a reason there's men. You're pausing men. Pause. Menopause. So as we come to International Women's Day in 3 days' time, 8th of March, I want to say a big thank you to the men out there, because none of us would be here if it wasn't for the men in our lives. Okay, there you go. That's my poignant statement for the day. And here we are now. For those who want to connect with me, then you can go to a Linktree, linktr.ee/Aldwin. And check out my YouTube channel as well. We've had just checked over 130,000 views now of my YouTube shows. I've got over 1,000 videos, some amazing stuff in there. And I put a little funny German skit in there too. You might want to check out the German Coast Guard. I put that up on my YouTube channel the other day, and the Stop It video. If you haven't seen that, you've got to check it out. So you can connect with me there, linktr.ee/Aldwin. Every month we have a Global Good News Challenge, which is absolutely free, where you can share gratitude and good news. It's free marketing for you. You'll feel amazing when you share gratitude, and so will the people who see your videos. So check out the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page for all the details on that. And I've got a few exciting events coming up, so do follow me in Eventbrite. You'll see all those links in my link tree there, linktree/Aldwin. So let us know, what are the gems you've got? Let us know you're watching live, or if you're watching the replay, we also up on the podcast platforms. Please like our Facebook page, Media Mavens Show, and also our podcast up on Spotify and all the great podcast platforms as well. And my quote I will share with you today is a Margaret Mead one. A small group of thoughtful people can change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. And next week on our show,
love it.
Thanks so much. Thank you very much. Thank you. And next week we have the amazing Lorna Buckland coming on as our guest. Lorna is one of my Mass Media Mastery members. Now, she was given 3 months to live 42 years ago, and we're going to hear her story. 3 months to live 42 years ago, and we're going to talk about how to achieve results faster. Okay, now just remember, it takes a lifetime to be an overnight success as well, my friends.
Yes.
Okay, it takes a lifetime, so let's be patient with the journey. Let's enjoy the ride. Final thoughts, Fauzia, Kirsten, before we wrap up this live stream.
I want to thank Fauzia for coming up, for having shared those gems, for jumping into this new field. It was beautiful to share, and thank you.
Oh, thank you both. You're such wonderful souls, and I'm so thankful and grateful to have this opportunity to be able to discuss a wonderful topic with such knowledgeable women. I hope to come back at some point and share other golden nuggets with you. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to send everyone lots of love here. And another great saying that I love is slow down to speed up. Slow down to speed up. And remember that next time you're doing Shavasana, okay, in yoga.
Yes.
Remember,
Slow down to speed up. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Fauzia. Thank you,
Beautiful.
Kirsten. We'll see
Thank
you next
you,
week.
Alton.
Thank
Same bat
you.
time, same bat channel. Mwah, lots of love. See you
Bye,
then.
everyone.